would like to remind everybody that certain topics of discussion may not be comfortable for all listeners. Certain viewpoints may not reflect those of our partners, sponsors, affiliates, our hosts, or that of our guests. We would like to encourage everybody to keep a respectful and open climate of discussion for all topics, no matter how disturbing they may be. So viewer discretion is advised.
You know this world has gone insane. It is absolutely no secret. But tonight, Saturday night, you are about to experience the true measures of what that insanity can bring you. Tonight, you are about to see Ball and Bonkers, the one-of-a-kind show that delves deep into the world with no holds barred. Now, meet your hosts, Dakota Franson, specialist of the strange, and Crystal Mule, the UFO fanatic. Now, give it up, and let's see what these two idiots can bring you.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We're back, and look who we've brought with us. We've brought Iron City Paranormal deep from the vault.
Just when you think the house couldn't get any uglier.
Wow. That's terrible. That's terrible. How's things, guys? How are you guys?
Things have been good. Things have been busy on our side.
Yeah. I would just like to note and tell everybody in the chat and everybody that listens back in this, you need to get one of those t-shirts you are wearing. They're lovely. So tell us a bit about them. Can they get them in your shop? Have you got a shop?
We do. So we have a link to our shop on our website, ironcityparanormal.com. You can go to our shop. We do have shirts there. We're also going to a print on demand. So if you would like shirts with some variety to them, give it a month or so, and we'll have some more options up on our site. But yes, absolutely, you can get them through our site.
Yeah,
we'd be happy to supply them for you.
There's also stickers and
there are all the important stuff.
Well, the stickers too. I like stickers. I'm going to visit them. I'm going to cover my car in Iron City Paranormal stickers.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Absolutely.
So guys, it's been a wee while since you were last on. Have you been any exciting locations? You know, where's the exciting locations you've been?
Yeah, so
there's been a bunch.
We've been to a bunch of different new sites, some repeats as well. One of the more well-known places, we went back to Gettysburg earlier this summer. We did a location that is not well known for its paranormal activity.
Mm-hmm.
It's a privately owned bed and breakfast that we are not permitted to share the name of, but it is a bed and breakfast that is off of the battlefield. And we had the opportunity to go there, and it was interesting because there's a history to the place that we tapped into with our investigation, but then we also got into some personal ties of a relative of the owner who had passed away.
It was very recently, actually. She was very close to canceling on us. That's how close they passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And we definitely touched base with them. I mean, we definitely communicated, had some very strange responses to us that didn't make any sense until we actually told the owner, and she very nearly broke down in tears. I mean, so that to us was meaningful.
It's very interesting because the last time we had you on, you were talking about the barber shop, and the footage that you had there was absolutely outstanding. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to go and check that out. With the what was that? It was a heat camera, wasn't it? I mean, you can actually see this figure walking past so slow. Did you capture, and I know you've sent my lovely co-host here a file with some stuff in it, which we'll get to soon. I've got to go on, I've got to be nice now and again. Did you capture anything like that at this location?
We did. We at this location we got some really cool EVPs. We got some really interesting feedback through our spirit box. At the time, we were getting into the Estes method that was new to us through use of the spirit box. With I'm sure you're familiar with, for those that aren't, listening to a spirit box through a headset, noise canceling headphones. Ask questions, and then the person that has the headphones on just repeat what they hear. We got some very, relevant responses through using that method, and those are the responses Derek is talking about that kind of like brought the owner to tears almost, that they were very relevant to her relative that passed. We also captured a shadow figure outside. There was a rumored, not even a rumored, there is historically documented mistreatment of foster children that took place at this location. And we captured a full body, what appears to be a shadow figure standing outside where we were investigating. So, yes, we did.
And once we get into that more with some of the backstories and everything, we'll actually let you listen to one of these clips that's just, it's incredible what you heard and how directly it ties into the story.
I'm looking forward. So, Dakota.
All right, Jen.
So,
where should we get started?
Yes.
We can start at Gettysburg if you want, since we were on that topic anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
Gettysburg never disappoints. It's always a great time.
That's definitely true. That's definitely a spot I've always wanted to check out.
Yeah, so that one there is actually before we got started on the investigation. This was she's let's call her a medium in training. She is somebody that found out that she had some abilities. Her and her father, Cliff and Emma, they joined us for this investigation, drove up from West Virginia. She was snapping some pictures outside the bed and breakfast, and she captured in the lower right-hand corner there a figure standing in the window.
I'm just going to move my mic out the way so I'm really close.
Yeah, it's a little pixelated with the amount that it's zoomed in. Right there.
Wow, I can see it
in that bottom pane almost.
That's interesting.
So one of the really cool features with this location is we got to spend 2 full nights investigating. Mm-hmm. So we had a lot of time during the day to kind of go back and review everything. And she actually brought this to our attention, saying, "Is this anything? Could this be somebody in the house?" Nobody was in the house at the time. We actually went back and we tried to recreate this and possibly attempt to debunk it, and we could not. Eventually, after we showed the owner shared a photo with us, which I don't have here, but I can definitely find for you guys. That
really
image, that figure, dark spot, shows up in different windows from time to time. No rhyme or reason, no particular spot. Like, that is the kitchen. Nothing that we know of occurred in the kitchen. We barely even spent any time in there.
We ate some breakfast.
Yeah, right. Good
food.
We
ate breakfast there, and we hung out there and ate pizza. That was the extent of it. We did not investigate it.
Oh, you're good to have pizza. Yeah.
To me, that's time well spent. We made most of our time there. But yeah, so that was before the investigation. Definitely, makes you scratch your head a little bit. But if you go to Dakota, if you can go back to the main, the next picture down, with the little gazebo outside, right there.
All right.
See in the circle there. So this light source that is shining across the back of that yard, so to speak. There's a barn far off to the right that has a floodlight located on it. Everybody in this picture, everybody that was on the investigation with us is either in the picture straight ahead or behind us. When we took this picture, there was nobody out in that field that would have cast a shadow or anything else. And what's very peculiar about it is if it was it was a shadow, created by somebody, you would expect to see an extension of the shadow down onto the ground. So it's very weird that it starts.
To add to that, at the same time, that garage, those doors are, what do you think, 8 foot, 10 foot tall?
Yeah, they're pretty tall.
I mean, for where the light source was coming from, angling down.
It's very interesting. I mean, you can. Is it just me? Is the shadow person or whatever it is got like a kind of cowboy hat on?
It's definitely
It
got
looks
some.
like it's
At the
got
time,
a hat
for
on.
Gettysburg.
Yeah, it's. To be honest with you, we didn't notice this until after when we returned and we were looking through pictures, or else we would have dug into this a little bit further.
Yeah.
So this area, the story behind it, this bed and breakfast, or it was a home at one point, obviously. It was used as a foster home for children, and the husband and wife that owned the farm obviously didn't have time to, take care of the foster children and do all of that. So they hired like a headmistress, almost like very similar to the Gettysburg Orphanage that we also investigated at, which had a lot of dark, negative presences there. So they hired this headmistress, wasn't the best of people. So she treated the children very poorly. And there is documented history of a child that tried to run away from the home, and her way of keeping him there was to actually take a hammer and nails and nailed his ear to the floor of the shed.
Oh my God!
That was located out in this area. And we actually, I told you we had EVPs and spirit box pickups out here during the investigation. We actually caught the sound of hammering on the spirit box. You could hear somebody hammering on things. We found a hammer nearby this gazebo that's pictured. We used it as like a trigger object. We pissed off whatever was out there to the point where the 3 mediums that were with us got very concerned for our well-being, and we actually had to end the investigation. So really interesting active area for us.
It's just that shadow it's like, what's your thoughts on that, Dakota?
It's defined. Obviously shows up whatever is casting it is fairly close to that garage, but
it's no shown in the grass. But it's no shown in the grass next to the tree.
Very barely.
Yeah. And so we couldn't make heads or tails of it. And like I said, we could not account for anybody that wasn't in the picture or behind us. This is when we first got out to that area. And we can tell you that there was nobody else, over by that area. We just thought it was an interesting capture.
It's a very good capture. I mean, what size? How tall would you say that garage door was?
They were saying about 8 foot, so that guy's easy. 6.
That's about the same as you, Dakota. A wee bit higher. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
To be honest with you, I personally was happy that we didn't see this during the investigation, because I would have. I don't know if I would have liked to continue. I would have driven away from there immediately. I don't like to screw with things bigger than I am.
Well, and so at the time, our group was about to split as well. I mean, we were on the verge. We were hearing noises over the hillside past that garage. There were 3 of us. I was one of them that ventured back there, and if I would have seen this beforehand, there's no chance in hell I'd have been walking over there. At least not with just 3 of us. But
that is a brilliant catch. Honestly, that is a brilliant catch. I think that's one of the best shadow form figures that's ever been caught. I would say that's very well done for that. Very well done. See, the tree was the tree there during the Civil War time. Would you say that was there? Was it? Yeah.
Yes, and from what we understood and from what we've been told and read in the newspaper articles from the past, is where that gazebo was actually an old shed.
Right.
And the tree grew over the shed. And after this woman committed this evil act. I mean, no other way to put that.
Evil.
Oh yeah.
Evil.
The townspeople actually tried to hang her from that tree, but she had already fled.
She fled.
Hanged.
It makes me wonder, what's the building away in the distance?
It's just another like kind of lean-to thing that they use for animals or whatever. I'd call it I don't want to say it's a barn because it doesn't have sides. It's more of like almost like a breezeway kind of thing.
Well, I would say that outstanding capture. That is outstanding, Dakota.
And what was more frightening about this whole night when we were conducting, an investigation in that gazebo or whatever you want to call that thing there. We did not pick it up on audio, which crushes me that we didn't pick it up. But you could hear what sounded like a child crying and screaming down over the hill. There was so this bed and breakfast is actually right on the Mason-Dixon line. Yeah. Mason-Dixon line cuts through this property. So down over the hill, there's a river and a creek that runs, and we heard what sounded like a child screaming and crying, which is what caused Derek to, of course, run down the hill looking for it. Him and some other people that were with us went down over the hill, and that's when the medium started freaking out, saying, "Get them back up here. It's not safe down there. Like, they need to come back up here." They were crying. They were, losing their shit, so to speak. So that's what was more interesting about this, because something was trying to draw us away.
It makes you wonder. It makes you wonder: is there any graves nearby? Out of curiosity.
Possibly.
They believe that there were burials on the site, on the grounds, but they don't have any pinpoints of where they would have taken place.
It's quite weird with that shadow, because it looks like it's whatever it is. Obviously, it looks more like a man. It's as if it's got its hand in its pocket and it's looking down and it's just walking along.
Mm-hmm.
And when you behind, you can see the head, you can see the shoulders. I mean, even where the body breaks to the legs and the hips. That's one that we've never. I don't think that we've ever seen something like that where it has that many features that you can make out.
Yeah, that's honestly, guys, that's a fantastic. This has got to be a great night. I can tell you. I've obviously got loads of stuff to show us. It's absolutely fascinating.
Already there. Just you wait. No.
Oh yeah.
Gettysburg has never disappointed us. We've done 2 focused investigations. Well, 3 actually there over the last couple of years. And then I think the last one that we went over the last time we were on with you guys, the audio clip, that was not a focused investigation. That the place is definitely charged for sure.
You think of the blood that's been spilt on that ground. You think of the thousands of deaths that's been on that ground. What strange entities are there just soaking up that energy? Mm-hmm. So Dakota, what else have you got in that magic computer?
I don't know. It looks like we got another photo. And it looks like we got some.
Yeah, so there's another photo. If you want to go to the visual route, there's the things that we caught, for lack of better terms, in the windows.
Mm-hmm. This, I know what you're talking about. This is the photo that the owner had sent to us.
Oh, okay.
So this actually relates to that very first picture that we showed. So that figure she has seen in these windows before, up top, where I circled them just for our sake to make it a hell of a lot easier. But every one of those circles, she has seen a figure and experienced something in those rooms. But she had found this after we conducted our investigation and sent it to us, and was like, that picture was pretty spot on to this.
Yeah. I mean, the picture above the door, the first window above the door, is that like a woman with long hair?
That's what it seems to me.
Yeah, I mean,
to be perfectly honest with you, Chris, that's what I get out of that.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting. I can use them up in that. I can use them up with the
ring.
I'm zoomed in all the way that it'll let me, Chris. Hey, don't just start fingering me. What the hell?
I know. I'm just trying to use my magic powers, but that's stunning. You can actually see her hair, her kind of blackish brownish hair.
Uh-huh.
And then the one to the left there.
Looks like a fat-head Muppet.
Yeah, it's exactly what it looks like. It's a Muppet. That's what I'm saying.
Why do all these ghost pictures look like fucking Muppets to me?
Oh my God, it's Sesame Street.
Boy, that changes the way you look at Sesame Street, doesn't it?
Oh God.
Oh, that's that. Oh, I've not seen Sesame Street for years, guys. I don't know when the last time I watched it. That one there next to where Dakota is, the one there where Dakota is actually quite interesting.
Okay, let's move this about. So
Aye, let's have a wee look at that.
So the window that is to the far left and then the next one over from the left, that front parlor area is where we contacted the dead relative of the owner, was in that front parlor. I don't know when this picture was taken.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of context with this. It's just something that sparked her memory after she saw some of our pictures and sent it to us.
That, as it's like somebody says in the chat there, it's like they're all women. That's kind of weird. That the one down the bottom, I don't know. It's as if it's off a light, it's kind of strange, that one.
Definitely
What's your thoughts on that, Dakota?
Its head out. The one above that's not circled. That kind of looks like there's a woman undressing in that one.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, some people see what they want and we know where you're headed.
I don't know where that.
You know, you're going to get people pausing this now and zooming right up.
Honest to God, like if
just because you
anybody
said that.
wants us to send them a picture, we can send it to them.
Yeah.
But
the other one?
Yeah, Chris,
the other one
back
does,
to that one directly above the door was super interesting to me that you caught that because that woman it almost looks like there's a woman above the door there.
Yeah.
It almost looks like you can even see the reflection in her hair in the center, like in the center top of her head. That was the most intriguing to me, besides the Muppet and the thing in the bottom left hand corner. That one in the center seemed. That was the one that got me.
I don't know what it is, but see the window that's no circled to the left hand side above the bottom one. Mm-hmm. The other side, Dakota, the other side. Sorry. There. I can see a woman standing there. There's another woman.
See what I mean? That's what I'm
talking about. Anything about her undressing.
Look at that. You can tell. You can tell. No, I'm serious. You can actually, as if she's got her hands up. That's weird. That's kind of weird.
She's trying to invite somebody in.
She's eyeing the two of you up. There's really two handsome gentlemen in there. The one day, come on in. Come on.
Hey, I'll take what I can get, whether she's dead or alive. I'll tell you.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. We'll give you the contact details after if you're interested.
Oh, God, I wish Mike was in here.
I'm glad our wives don't watch this.
And what did you all get out of the dead relative? What kind of messages did you get? Any messages for the occupants?
Yeah, so we
very confusing.
Well, we did not ask for information ahead of time. What the owner was looking for in the passing of her relative was essentially confirmation of the things that she saw since their passing. She had some very interesting interactions with things that she had never experienced before, and she asked that we wanted to know confirmation. She didn't tell us anything about things that she had seen. We didn't want to know any of that. So there were things that we picked up on recordings, on this Estes method, on the spirit box that we jotted down. Derek and I stayed up till about 5 a.m. that morning, watching the videos, writing transcripts down to what we heard, what timestamp, and everything else. And the one thing that came out repeatedly, we asked her if it meant anything to her, and when we told her, we said, "Does this make sense to you? Does this mean anything to you?" It was something that she thought was a sign from her relative that she didn't tell many people, but it was confirmation that thing that she saw was this relative that had passed. That was with her actually on the date that she was planning their funeral.
Wow.
I mean, you can just tell. I don't think that's the white owl thing.
I mean, we could.
So what was said was white owl. How many times did we? Yeah, you tiptoed.
I tiptoed around it.
I mean, she had asked us for us not to reveal too much, but something like that.
Yeah.
But so that phrase of white owl came out quite a few times, and to us in the moment made zero sense. Like there was absolutely nothing, no stuffed animals, no nothing.
It's weird you should say that because at 23:14, I think it was, on the timestamp, I don't know if anybody else heard that, there was a mumble. And Dakota's chat was muted. Yours guys, the two were quiet, just was split. And there was like a yes. It was weird. That's what it was like. It was like somebody whispering.
Really?
Yeah.
So you have headphones on. You probably picked that up more than we could.
Yeah.
23:40.
Onwards 23, onwards to say 24, and there was like a mumble. It was as if it was agreeing with you.
Oh, that's interesting because the thing that I was tiptoeing around through the Estes method very, very quickly into our time in that front parlor area on the spirit box, the word owl, OWL, came out very clearly, and then maybe 30 seconds later it repeated itself, but it added to it. It said white owl, and then it said it a third time. It said white owl, and it was very clear. And we made note of that, and we asked the owner the next morning. We said, "Does white owl mean anything to you?" Because whatever it was adamant that we mentioned this to you. And actually, the day that she was planning the funeral for her relative, there was her son came running into the room and said, "Mom, there's a white owl. There's an owl that flew up to the window." And they went outside and they saw this white owl sitting on the fence, and they've never seen a white owl in the area before. And then several weeks later, her granddaughter, while she was getting her ready to take to school, had bent over and picked up a large white owl feather from underneath the car, and she took it with her to school that day, like put it in her backpack and took it to school with her. And she said, "Pappy's going with me to school." You know, like that was pretty fantastic of a capture, and we got other stuff as well.
It was quite weird because when I heard that voice, it was a woman's voice. It was definitely a woman's voice, and I don't know if there was a bit of southern accent in it, but it said something 3 times. It was 3 times, but very, very quickly. Very quickly.
That's interesting.
And that kind of, that twang, that kind of southern twang.
Oh yeah.
Southerners go. That's what it had. It was just so strange that, and I'm still drawn to that window at the very top, making me wonder, is that who that was? I think somebody's followed you home to your new house.
Hey, I mean, I'd rather that than the large man outside on the garage door, to be perfectly honest with you.
Well, fair enough.
I mean, Dakota, what else do you have from a magical box of pictures? Because this is just fascinating tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, it does look like we have some audio clips that the guys want to share.
Ooh.
I think I saw. Yeah, I saw the audio of where you could hear the hammering outside coming through on the spirit box. That one's right above there. I think we captured multiple times. It was both of them. You could play literally either one of them.
All right, let's pick one. All right. You able to hear it?
No.
Oh, crap. Oh, come on.
I tried to give timestamps up there, too, if you can see that.
Yes.
52 in a minute. 18:52 in a minute.
Can you bring it up again?
Come on, you
10:52.
While he's figuring that out, I love the graphic that you made with our logo behind there, by the way.
That's why Dakota's good at this kind of stuff, I
love that so much.
Yeah, the whole Batman look, yeah.
It does.
Batman and Robin, that should be your name of your ghost hunting team.
As long as I get to be Batman, because I'm not taking Robin.
Oh dear. Oh.
Uh-oh.
He'll be back shortly, ladies and gentlemen. He'll be back. He's just fiddling about. He's probably pressed the wrong button. But yeah, there you go. The 2 years could be Batman and Robin. You could burst in through the door of a house that's getting haunted by a poltergeist. You know.
It's funny you mentioned that. We had our first run-in with a poltergeist a couple months ago.
Did you? What I bet that was an experience.
It was interesting to say the least.
Yeah. What was it like? Actually, like moving furniture, or was it just random stuff getting thrown at you?
It was throws, basically, doors, dolls. I mean, in that whole night, it wasn't even in the front of our minds until nothing was making sense to us, and then all of a sudden, it's like, wait a second, there are things physically moving here. You know, let's rethink this whole thing.
Yeah, I'm still fascinated. I'm still fascinated with the place you were at, the barbershop place. Because I don't know. I still have the odd weird dream about that place for some weird reason.
Do you really?
Yeah, and it's still the dirt floor, and it's getting dug. Somebody's digging, which is computer crash, guys. But it'll not take long to come back. It's that place. Guys, please check out that watches this old episodes that we've done where I'm City Paranormal. That place was fascinating because I still have the weird dreams of going down into the cellar.
It was, and it seemed like every time we went there, something new happened. A new piece of information, evidence, even history kept coming out.
Yeah. Did you after manage to dig it? Did you know allowed to dig it up?
Yeah, we didn't get a chance to because I don't think he owns that spot. So he was still waiting for approval. But he actually, I don't doubt that. But actually, it was about a month ago? 2 months ago, he reached back out to us.
Yeah, it's been within the last month or so. Yeah, he's got some more activity there. I tried reaching out to him, but he was actually tattooing at the time, and he did not call me back. But I think that we're going to be back at that place sooner than later because there's definitely something going on, especially with that the hat man that Dakota had brought up because he did that the second investigation remotely with us, and running into that potential hat man's demon or whatever the heck it is, entity, let's call it.
Yes.
It makes us wonder. I'd like to get back there.
There's definitely something that lives down below. Right? There's something that lives down, and I don't know what it was, but I could see the store owner from like the 1920s. See how I said there was like a door behind you, but there's no way I could know that was a door. Where the block was. I mean, I could see him standing there, and it was just, it was so funny. It was as if he was just looking up at you two. This one. And that's why he was doing it. He had a kind of big grin. He thought it was funny. But I did sense something really dark. Something, I don't know, there's just something bad. And obviously the area has got a lot of history. Because I did do a bit of research into it. Yeah. Yeah,
and it's stuff that we have to tread lightly on because we don't want to upset the Historical Society or anything out there. But yes, it's got the area has some evil within it. Let's put it that way.
It was covered up and hidden from everybody, so that always adds to that kind of thing.
Yeah. So what we'll do is, while we're waiting on Dakota coming back, could you please tell us all the locations where we can find you? All the links will be below on this live. You click the B tab at the bottom, but could you sell your souls, guys? Tell everybody everything where they can find you while we're here.
We love it. So IronCityParanormal.com is our website. That is a wealth of evidence, let's say.
It's history, it's backstories behind all these places, as well as our entire night spent there. Even if we're sitting in an empty room and hear absolutely nothing for a half hour. You can hear that too if you really want to, but we document everything.
We have some really interesting conversations, and some of them, if nothing's happening, we go off on tangents. But the purpose of the website is to like Derek said, he investigates or he researches the place before the investigation. He finds out the history of the location because a lot of the locations do have a very storied history to them. So he'll do some research, quite a bit of research prior to the investigation. Once we conduct the investigation, we dump all of our evidence on there, whether it's evidence or not, recordings, pictures, everything goes online because we want people to watch our videos, to look at our pictures, to listen to the audio, to see if they can hear things or see things that we could not.
Well, there's a message in the chat there for you from Christina Phillips Bell. Where are you located at?
So we are located out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Iron City.
Iron City, that's the Iron City in the Iron City Paranormal. So we like to try to keep it. This is not our full-time job, so we like to keep our investigations within Pennsylvania, Ohio, West Virginia, New York. But if there's any interest in having us come out, we love to do personal things that are personal hauntings, personal ties to people. We find a lot more value in that than going to these locations that are, known for their history of hauntings and all that stuff. So
Dakota, the chief engineer, is back from beyond.
Thank God. I felt lost without him.
There you go. So did I. I was like, where are you, man? Because he didn't share the file with me.
Well, you don't know how to run shit. No.
I know.
Yeah,
I looked down and you didn't know. No, here's my big brick. I'll just drop out of it now.
But to get real quick to finish up before we get back into things, Instagram, Iron City Paranormal, all one word. Twitter, Iron City Paranormal. Instagram or Facebook as well, Iron City Paranormal. All of those forums we post on constantly. Twitter, not so much. We do have one.
It's just not the best of formats for us, but we like to throw out clips, pictures, everything, like days following the investigation, and getting extra sets of eyes and ears on everything from all the people that tune into that is a huge help. There's some things that we would have missed if it weren't for people just kind of giving their direct feedback.
Yeah. Well, without further ado,
did you fix it, Dakota?
I
gotta
hope so.
We hope so.
I have no fucking clue.
We blame it on the spirits, the pesky spirits. It's the spirit's fault.
All right. Hopefully this fucking thing works.
No, don't be sorry. That's what we want you to do. So,
I feel like someone's kneeling on my shoulders.
Oh? Does that signify anything? No. It's just a feeling.
It's just a feeling like someone's kneeling on my pressure.
So there was some right there if you heard it.
My neck is started hurting.
You've had that the whole time?
Well, the minute I was in here, it was dizzy, lightheaded, disorientated, and when I sat down, it was like right down my spine. Like,
That's interesting, that.
So we were asking why. Terrible tap in this, and the gazebo that used to stand here. The name of the individual that performed these heinous acts has been stricken, taken out of history.
Okay, so that's it. But I assume you could hear that.
Oh yeah, it's like someone knocking on wood, very very lightly, like on a table. That's what it's like. It's like it's like 3, and then it goes to 3 again.
It goes in 3s. That's right. We heard that exact same thing.
Could we hear that again, Dakota?
There was someone talking
even if you just play back the first 20 seconds or so, you'll hear it a few times.
No, don't be sorry. That's what we want you to do. So,
I feel like someone's kneeling on my shoulders.
Oh? Does that signify anything? No, just a feeling.
It's just a feeling like someone's kneeling on my pressure on my shoulders. Pressure
Back on my neck is started hurting.
You've had that the whole time?
Well, the minute I was in here, I was dizzy, lightheaded, disorientated, and when I sat down, it was like it was right down my spine. Like,
Disorientated.
So we were asking why terrible things happened in the gazebo that used to stand here. The name of the individual that performed these heinous acts has been stricken, taken out of history.
Yeah. The lag is insane. You're not kidding.
This is interesting.
It is.
Chris, it's not playing anymore.
Is it real? Is it,
He was zoning in on it. I didn't want to interrupt.
no, I didn't want to. No, that was weird, that, because see, when it was like maybe 15 seconds in, can you let it play for like 20 seconds? Not even 20 seconds, 15 seconds, and then take it back and let it play again? Because I'm sure I can hear like a little boy or somebody speaking.
There's definitely an argument going on in the background.
Oh, yeah.
It honestly sounds like a kid trying to avoid screaming. I don't know what it was, but all of a sudden, as soon as I started hearing that kid whimper, my ears started hurting like a motherfucker.
Yeah, I saw you take your headphones off.
I was like, is that... Play.
Is it playing?
Is it? Talk dirty to me.
You might need to get out of it and then back into it.
You'll need to get back in. You've wore it out, Dakota. You've broke it again.
I swear to God, it's hard to find good help.
I keep telling... Why is it when I say it now it's crashing?
That...
I'm not saying they don't want us to listen to it, but they don't want us to listen to it.
I think... What... is there any other audio logs of the location?
Yeah, there's another one that's the same thing where we picked up the hammering noise out in the gazebo.
Yes, you just did.
That was the obelisk. Don't mind
Yeah,
that.
we have our obelisk going.
Got it.
so you need to be here to protect us. Are you trying to tell us it's unholy here? Panic. He's here to protect us. I'm sorry, my late husband's name is Joe, and he's a guardian angel, and...
Really?
Yes. If he's saying this will be unholy, there's something not right, then. Yes.
It's okay. That's ridiculous.
My hand, too, keeps going. No, the same thing. Same hand. It was doing that earlier, too, and the only way I could get it to stop was go put my hand on the tree to ground me. I had a little mini panic attack out here earlier.
If you need to step out, you can step out.
And that's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
But you're going to hear me breathe really deep and exhale, so when you're reviewing evidence, if you're...
Okay.
Wow. That was very interesting. That Dakota, you want to go first?
Definitely something moving around in the background.
It was like, how can I could read it. I've got a table here. It was like, it's like somebody had a pen or a pencil, and they was going.
Well, so I muted it just so you guys could listen, and that's exactly what I was telling Dan. Is when I first heard this, I thought, this is crap. Somebody's knocking on a floor or a wall, and then we went back and we listened to this a few times, and we looked through our documentation between our videos and our pictures, and nobody was even close to something like that.
So what's even more compelling to it is at the time we recorded this, Derek and I were the only two people that had any idea what the history was at that location. Nobody knew anything about, like, none of the other people that were with us knew anything about somebody hammering, putting a nail through a little boy's ear.
They didn't even know something happened back there.
That's exactly.
They didn't have a clue what it was.
Exactly. So that's what makes me more compelled to believe that what we heard, because nobody else would have had any idea about anything to do with hammering at that location.
How many people were there?
There were 8 of us total, including the 2 of us. And obviously, we've been on a few times with you guys. The people that are on the chat and everything don't know us from Adam, but Derek and I are in this for the right reasons, let's say. We're not in this just to get evidence. We're not the Zach Baggins of the world that are making money on this stuff. We're not, we're not trying to sell what we do. So we have so we have no reason to fake any of this stuff.
You know, again, this has got to sound weird, but see, when I hear the tapping, it sounds like a pencil getting tapped, right? But like, this is going to sound weird, right? But I don't see a tapping with a pencil. I'll tell you exactly what I see in my head. I see like a crow or a bird of some kind, and it's tapping. Choosing to speak. It's tap. It's I think it's a raven you call them, the light crows. And it's like tapping. It's like that's what it's doing. It's using its beak to tap. I don't know why I said that, but I see a raven. I see a black raven.
Well, because ravens are terrifying, right? I mean, I'd rather a raven than a robin. Robin.
Oh yeah, Teen Titans. I would prefer ravens, but hey.
But you're right, Chris. It's exactly what that sounds like.
It sounds like a pencil would maybe just be slightly too loud, but a beak, like maybe a bird, has got that kind of hollow kind of effect, and that's because I've heard them, because I've got like crows that go outside and sit, and I've seen them pecking at the wood, and it's exactly the same noise. It's like the tip, 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 tip. That's what it's like. It's kind of hollow kind of sound. Are you getting some?
Oh, sorry. We're looking ahead.
Oh, just somebody in the chat, Jane Clark. Yeah, we can see you there. You're in the chat, Dakota. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, it looks like Jane also thinks that it sounds like tapping, and that's exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah. It's like there was something on. It was on wood. It wasn't on it wasn't a wall. It was wood on wood. Mm-hmm. It was like wood. It's got that kind of. How can I say it? It's got like a kind of hollow kind of. You know what wood sounds like when you tap a table. But I don't know why I keep seeing this black raven. I see a raven or a crow or something just sitting there looking strange.
Oh,
what else have we got to view? This is intriguing, this, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, any particular clubs y'all want to show off, guys?
So these things, the stuff that we've gone over are, Gettysburg is a very well-known location. Yeah. One of the more interesting things that we've done recently has been the Archive of the Afterlife. So just south of Pittsburgh, about an hour and a half in West Virginia, there is a location that is a museum of haunted objects. So it is a friend of ours that we've met through doing this paranormal stuff. It's called the Archive of the Afterlife. It is run by an individual that is a phenomenal person by the name of Steve Hummel. He's well versed in paranormal things as well as demonic things. I believe he's an ordained minister. I mean, he's got a very good resume to him to make him. But this guy he treats these things the same way that Derek and I do with it, which is which is respectful. We don't want to make a mockery of anything that we're doing. You know, we're not in this to make money. We are not in this to, sell out for any reason. We are in this to, again, it comes back to
you're in to prove if there's life after death and what happens.
Yeah, it's like the question on everybody's mind, you know, and if, the guy that runs a tattoo parlor, that's what he said, that's what he told us before. He's like, wouldn't it be shitty if when we die, you realize there is no life after death and you wonder who the hell you were talking to, you know what I mean?
I know.
Right.
But you wouldn't think that because you wouldn't know.
Yeah, but one of the things that Derek and I always keep in mind is that the individuals that we're talking to, most of them at least, have been alive at one point in time.
Yes.
You know, they were somebody's mother, they were somebody's father, they were somebody's child. It is not the artist. It is not up to us to disrespect them in any way. So we want to be respectful to them, to their family. We don't want to we don't want to flash our tattoos and scream at the nuns that don't like tattoos. Like, that's not our style, you know? Mm-hmm. So when we run into an individual like Steve that also has that healthy respect for the things that we value, we like to, I don't want to say hitch on to them, but we do. I mean, we want to work with them. You know, so this museum in West Virginia is full of objects that are, from very charged, things, let's say like the leather cat from the electric chair in Moundsville State Penitentiary.
Oh, good God, right.
Like the Bible from Eileen Warnos's cell before she was put to death.
Right.
Very, very cool objects. Yeah. We were in the he has this room. It's a lot of haunted objects throughout the museum. It's in an old house that he curates these things. There are things that he's purchased, things that have been donated, things that are on loan, even things that people have just dropped off at the front door of the museum. Say,
I don't want it anymore.
Yeah. So
I need to set up one of these shops.
Honest to God, I mean, like, it's insane some of the stuff he has. Yeah. But he has this room upstairs. It's called the dark. He calls it the dark room, which is objects that have, demonic potentially or evil spirits attached to them in some way. Yeah. So in this room there is what's called the Hope doll. It is a large doll. It probably stands about 4 feet tall. Yeah. And for some reason, and we weren't the first team to catch this, but our SLS camera, there's many dolls in this museum, and it will look at every doll as a human, and the SLS camera will map it as such. Mm-hmm. But for some reason, nobody's SLS camera will map this Hope doll. It is a 4 foot tall little girl standing there. So it should be, above all else, it should be mapping it more than some of the other dolls. They're just like leaning against a chair or something.
So there's obviously something with it then.
Yeah, something's going on with this damn doll, and it's creepy as hell. So this was up in the doll room. This picture here, we were doing. I got a picture flash in my brain. Which I don't consider myself to be sensitive or anything. Like, Derek, don't do that. That's creepy. I don't consider myself to be, anything special. But I kept seeing this red light underneath this chair.
Yes. Is that 2 red eyes?
Yeah.
I can't help myself. It does look like 2 red eyes.
Like a cat. Sitting there,
So when we took a still shot of the video, because at the time we just saw this red streak underneath this chair. But when we took a still shot of it, it was these 2 red eyes. And we had the owner, the Steve Hummel, come up to that room. We showed him the video. We showed him, like, this is what we're looking at. What the hell could be doing this? Do you have a router? Do you have something in this? There's a cabinet in the corner. Like, do you have something there that could be making this red light flash?
I'm on my hands and knees on the ground looking for any kind of lights, anything that could have been creating this. There was nothing there. Nothing.
It's like the eyes of a doll's eyes have lit up.
Yeah, it's
I have
creepy.
to say that.
Yeah, it's creepy, and I don't like it.
I want this in my house.
You can have it.
I don't think that's creepy. I just find it fascinating.
Yeah,
Right, Dakota, we're sending you in.
Yeah, honestly,
I'll take it.
You can have it, because I'm good without it.
It's weird. It's as if it's a slant. It's oh my god. That is so. What do you think, guys, in the chat?
In the video, it shows up like it's moving. You know, like it looks like almost like a red streak in the video. It's only when you stop and take a still shot of it is it.
It's like it's two orbs and they're moving together.
Right, exactly. And we don't know what could have caused that. We actually took a video with the owner, with Steve, trying to debunk this the best we could. And we could not come up with anything that would do this. There's nothing reflective there. There's a window behind us, but there's nothing reflective over there. There was a curtain pulled across the window for any lights. Just really weird.
Is it Jane that says there, Clark, it says there's like 2 wee girls. I don't think there's any wee children. I think there maybe entities in there kid knowing that they're children, but I don't think that there's any good entities in there, to be really honest with you, because why do their eyes have to light up red? That's what I'm saying. Why can't there be any other colour? I mean, red is...
It's just the energy output, Chris.
It's creepy. I'll give you that. It's very creepy. But that is a good catch.
Yeah, so again, it was one of those things we could not explain. But in the Hope Room, in the dark room, as it's affectionately known, I mean, this doll is to the point where they have three crucifixes on the wall above the Hope doll. They have Catholic effigies that are positioned on top of
a picture of Hope up there.
On the top of the box. If you go back, Chris, to the drive.
It's in the archive folder.
Okay, Derek just put a picture on the archive folder that actually shows the Hope doll. It's really creepy just to look at the Hope doll. Yeah, right there. Yeah, she's freaking creepy.
That looks like my grandma.
It might be your grandma. Is your grandmother's name Hope?
Well, no, shouldn't be the one I'm thinking about. Last I checked, she was still alive.
Okay, that's good. That's good. I mean, so your grandmother is not a demonic doll, which is great.
She probably would be,
right. What I'm going to say is that the 2 red dots are very close together, and I mean extremely close together. They might look like eyes, but I don't think they are eyes. I think there's something else. I think you're right. I think it's maybe 2 orbs flying along together. Because if you look, she's obviously got quite a wide face.
I got one to show you too. So back to the doll room. I went back and I started analyzing some of the videos a little bit further after I spoke with Steve.
Yeah.
If we go back, I took a still shot of one. I just added it because I don't think Dan has even seen
Derek
this.
just showed me this right now, so this is new.
Which one are we talking about here, boys?
That one right there
The
at the bottom.
9621.
So this was a video of the moment when Dan had visually seen this young girl. You explained a little bit of that, right?
No, I did not.
Okay. Well, this occurred in the doll room. He had seen visually, in his head at least, this young girl, if you want to explain it, but this is the picture. This is one of the videos that was captured at that time, and there was nothing there. That's an opening. That's a door opening to another room.
Yeah, so in this room, to the right of this, you can see the wood paneling on the wall. To the right of this picture is where those 2 red eyes were captured.
Right.
That doorway that Derek is referencing with what appears to be another Muppet creature.
It looks like Ghostface from Scream.
It does, actually. I was closing my eyes and just like trying to zen out, more or less. And I had gotten this flash of a little girl with a blue dress with two blonde pigtails running back and forth between these rooms, and there was a curtain between these rooms. And I just had this flash of this little girl that was like pushing the curtains to the side and coming through the room, which I guess led to this picture. I really don't know. I'm learning this as well.
I'll tell you what I'm getting right now. It's not a little girl.
Oh, great. Fantastic.
I'll tell you that right now. It's not a little girl. It's a trickster.
It's a trickster.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's not good.
What are you getting, Dakota?
Definitely trickster.
Oh, yeah.
Nature, not necessarily looking to hurt anybody. Just takes the joke a little too far.
Okay. Do you believe that it's human? Or that it was at one point?
Oh, I don't know. Dakota, what's your thoughts?
Definitely was human at some point, yes.
Well, that's good.
So.
Not always.
Not always good, because it could be something else. It could be something that's worse than a demonic.
Even demons were once human.
I know, but you get twisted souls, which demons kind of have to tend to certain rules, but then you get the twisted souls that are slightly a wee bit more. I don't know what. I can see I can see something. I don't know what it is. It's like a man standing at a doorway. I can see his leg. It's strange. It's strange. It's weird. I'm going to study this after. I'm going to take a screenshot of this. Could you maybe send me one of that photos so I can sit and look at this?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It'll save me taking a screenshot because it'll not be as good quality.
Yeah. No, it's always better to have the raw files for sure.
Can you not see the man's leg, Dakota, with a shoe?
So where? Yeah. Can you point out where you're seeing the man's leg in this?
Right, Dakota, can you put the mouse cursor up? Right, see, there's a kind of weird. Just put it straight at the back of the door, please. Where can I put this? It's right. It's this, the right hand side for me, but you see the white bit that comes down, right? And then it's the door, and it goes along, and then it stops, and you can see a trouser leg and a pair of brown shoes. There's somebody waiting at the other side. There's somebody waiting.
Well, and to be honest with you, that room that is in the back of that curtain is where other teams have done investigation, or not investigations, but seances.
It's hiding. That's what it's doing. It's like it thinks it can't be seen. You know, I can see it. I can see it's clear as day. I can see its leg, and it is not.
Like there was something
it's not a child.
Sitting right inside that door.
Right in the doorway. That's why we started doing that.
Yeah, I had this overwhelming feeling when I was in this room that there was something sitting right on the other side of that curtain, just waiting for us.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see a man.
Where I just give you evidence right off without you even seeing it.
I didn't freaking like that.
I would say, era-wise, I would say these trousers are from the 70s. You know, the bikini baggy ones that men used to wear? You know what I'm talking about? The kind of flare kind of trousers, kind of wide trousers.
Oh, yeah, like Payne Stewart used to wear golfing. Yep. What do they call those damn things? Yeah,
and I would say the brown shoes were, what they call it again, they're brown, they're long, they look like cowboy boots, but they're not cowboy boots, and they've got little holes all over the front of them. Oh, they've got a name. That'll come to me. But there's a man there as if he's hiding behind a curtain, and he knows that you're there, but he knows that you can't see him. So there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, is there anybody in the chat can see the same thing?
Yeah, and Derek was just mentioning, like, this is the first time he's shown me this. I don't care for this picture.
There's something eerie about it.
I don't like this.
There's something there, but it's hiding. Dakota, what's your thoughts, man?
It's definitely one to play.
Oh yeah. So what other pictures of this location do we have?
So we actually, so I talked about the Hope Doll. One of the more intriguing things we've caught, if you go to, where's the video? It's up, right?
Videos?
Yeah, do you have the
They're
video
just
of this?
stills of this.
Okay.
I can get the video real quick.
So that second one down, Dakota, the 9231.
9231?
Yes, sir.
All right.
So this is our SLS camera, obviously. We were using it to try to map the Hope Doll to see if it would map it. And we weren't paying any attention, and I wish we would have recorded this from the very beginning, but we did not because we weren't expecting to catch anything. Inside the closet sitting right next to the Hope Doll, there is a mirror leaning against the wall in the closet, sitting on the floor leaning against the wall. And that mirror is from the West Virginia axe murder cabin, which is where a doctor took his wife to a cabin for like a weekend getaway. And he says he got possessed or, influenced by some sort of evil spirit and killed her with an axe in the cabin itself. So some of the people that we've met doing this run a very successful YouTube channel called Paranormal Quest. Paranormal Quest, Steve Hummel, who runs the Archive of the Afterlife, belongs to that group. This mirror that is leaning against the wall was from that murder cabin, affectionately known as. So while we were trying to map the Hope Doll, we saw a humanoid figure climb out of the bottom of the mirror, leaning against the wall. It proceeded to climb up the mirror and stood on top of the mirror, which is what this picture is, the SLS capture of this figure standing on top of the mirror. That is the point that we started recording it because we were in shock of what we were looking at.
Yeah.
But then this figure stood there and almost danced in front of us for a little bit.
I was about to say, it looks like it's got a little Michael Jackson thing going.
So I just tossed a link up to this video. If you go back to that folder, I created a little list there. That sheet right there. There's you.
You are good. You are good, dude.
All right, look, we got a video here. Let's see, Phil. Come now.
Yep. It just does. I'm a ghost. Batman and Robin here are ready to pounce on you.
So who's wearing the underwear?
Robin. Batman.
All right, looks like we're up.
So like I said, we did not capture it climbing out of the mirror.
No, we were
seriously, you could put Michael Jackson to this.
You really could.
Wow.
I wish I had that fucking dance move. See why, ladies and gentlemen, this is why you got to come to the live shows.
Honest to God, you can't get this entertainment anywhere else. We are way better than Zach back.
Freaky shit. That is some freaky shit, though. And I mean, it's hovering in the air, and then it's climbing, and it looks like it's punching the wall,
and that's exactly the point, Chris. Is like it climbs the wall and then disappears.
Okay,
and
they want me to move close.
I don't know if we have video of it on this one, but we tried to get this to recreate itself. We could not get it to map that.
We have about a 2-minute video trying to just simply catch anything that would resemble that, and we couldn't get anything.
That was just freaky, guys. That's just.
That was awesome.
Yeah, it was. You sure it's not as Michael Jackson? You accidentally picked him up somewhere.
It might have been.
It could be.
And I'm not opposed to that.
That's why he wrote Man in the Mirror. Because he was climbing out of the mirror.
That's what, do you not find it strange talking about them? I mean, it's amazing how small those figures can be.
Uh-huh.
I mean, do you shrink or something when you die?
That wasn't coming out of the mirror. That's not from our world, Chris.
No, it's obviously using the mirror as a portal. I know
Chris,
that.
there's one thing that I hope whenever I die that I shrink, because I've been large my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not as large as Dakota, because I've seen a picture of him with an elephant. He's very large. But, like, I've been larger than average my entire life.
God.
I hope I shrink in a second life or a second dimension or whatever it is.
It's quite interesting how they hang about mirrors, though, isn't it? How a lot of reports are next to mirrors.
I mean, well, a couple weeks back, think about it, Chris, when we had Emma Louise Tully from Sharon Rectory in Ireland. During the live show, we saw something kind of moving around like it was
That's right.
being caught in the mirror's reflection that pop out, then dart off.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a mirror in my room. I don't like having a mirror in my room. Mm-mm. It's just something about them. I mean, what's your guys' thoughts? Do you have a mirror in your room?
We do. We do, because I have a very vain wife.
Yeah.
Forgot
about that.
You're really lucky
she does not watch this stuff. She's downstairs actually right now.
Where is it on Facebook? Let's send it to her.
She probably still wouldn't watch it. No, we have a mirror. I agree with you, Chris. I don't like them.
No.
Bloody Mary wouldn't be a thing without mirrors, and Bloody Mary has bothered me since I was a child.
Yeah.
It was definitely a weird capture for us that we did not expect to get. Like I said, we weren't looking for that. We were trying to...
We were just trying to map the Hope doll. That's all we were trying to do there.
I mean, that Hope doll, I don't know, there's just something about it. It's got a weird vibe.
It does.
It's kind of like Annabelle in a way. You know what Annabelle's like?
When I look at it, I literally hear like a laughter coming from it.
Cam just got to say something now. What era would you say she was for? I would say she was for the 70s, wouldn't you?
It's fair to say.
Judging by her clothes, I would say that's a good.
And then
it
makes you wonder that leg and that foot look like it was from the 70s. It makes you wonder.
So what you're saying is that those Catholic effigies and the crucifixes on the wall behind it isn't keeping her in there at all.
It's keeping behind disco.
That's great. That's awesome.
It's Saturday Night Fever all again. John Travolta's
coming out.
That's it. See, at night when you shut the place up, the music Saturday Night Fever starts playing. All the dolls are out, jigging away.
Come out and dance, man. More power to them.
I think I'd be okay with it, to be honest with you.
It's got that kind of weird feel about it. How old, do you know anything about the age of the doll?
We don't know anything about the doll, to be honest with you, Chris. I mean, we're going to go back to this location. We've been invited back, again, with the owner, Steve. He wants to know more about the objects that are there. So any investigation, or any paranormal team that shows interest in this kind of stuff that is respectable, let's say, he's inviting us back to do an investigation to try to piece these things together. I personally don't know, or I don't think Derek does either, knows how old it is. I don't think it's that old, to be honest with you.
It doesn't look that old, but it looks like it's from maybe the 60s, 70s kind of era, which is... It's weird because I can see a gentleman in the... I'll tell you after the show. Keep it like that.
Yeah.
But it's quite interesting. You should take Dakota with you. See what happens to him. You could lock him in that room. See what happens. There you go, Dakota. You know.
I've had other dolls literally crawl into bed with me, dude. They all think these bets are off.
I don't know how you could have a doll in your house, man. That's just see if I find a haunted doll. Honestly, a gallon of gasoline in a box of match. Mind you, by the time the price of gasoline nowadays,
it would be worth every penny, Chris. It really would. I would spend.
It really would. So where's your next investigations, chaps? Where will the next place you're going?
Next, we're helping out actually with a public investigation of the Carnegie Library and Homestead.
Right.
We actually did this once as the public.
And we were the public.
We were the public and got some very interesting things since then. There's been a lot of construction and recreation of what the place used to be. So I'm kind of hoping that stirs some stuff up.
Yeah, so the place that he's talking about, back in the heyday of Pittsburgh, that, gave us the Iron City or the Steel City nickname. Andrew Carnegie obviously ran U.S. Steel, was revolutionary in the steel industry, made a lot of freaking money at it. And had a lot of people that were employed through him that were immigrants, coming from Ireland, from Poland, all of those places. He used his wealth for some good and built some libraries in the cities where the workers live. So this library, the Carnegie Library, is in Carnegie, Pennsylvania, which is right by a very large old steel facility. That was meant for steel workers to take their families to, because they weren't making a lot of money back then. They couldn't afford to go places. So this library was used as a resource for them.
And not only was it a library, but they had a fully functional pool there. Yeah, they had an auditorium there. I mean, it was more of just a cultural center,
like a recreational center, more or less.
And there were a lot of people that would come in and out, all classes, all ages, all sexes. I mean, everyone had come through here. It was all free to the public.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
the whole point of it. So there was a lot of energies that we felt that were left behind. From the last we investigated.
Well, you'll need to come back and tell us all about that. Again, we've been on for nearly an hour and 20 minutes. My God, where does the time fly?
Always happens.
And ladies and gentlemen that watch this back and people that listen to the podcast, I would just like to say, please visit Iron City's Paranormal website. Please give them a subscribe. Please do all you can, and please go and buy their T-shirts because I think they're awesome.
They're really pretty T-shirts. I love the logo.
They go towards all the proceeds go toward. Well, first off, our wives who do this thing for us, but also the equipment and investigations themselves, travel. Yeah. I mean, it all goes kind of back into what we're doing.
Yeah, honestly, guys, you're doing a fantastic job, and that footage is absolutely amazing. And we will get you back again to discuss more about maybe
we got a lot more stuff to show you.
Oh, see, teasing, ladies and gentlemen. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a special show lined up tomorrow. Why don't you tell them about tomorrow, Dakota? The special show tomorrow.
Yes. Our dear friend Moonblade is going to be coming back, and God, that episode got weird last time we had him on. There were voices, weird sounds coming through and all caught live, of course.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's definitely going to make for the documentary going to be more interesting. But we're going to actually be talking about Nazi UFO secrets.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
And how it may be, history may be getting ready to repeat itself very soon. Because, as someone pointed out, a woman can post a fully nude picture of herself on Twitter. This has actually happened to one of our friends. No flags, but she posts a video she caught of a UFO. She gets flagged for trying to incite violence.
Yes.
which actually happened to me on one of my YouTube channels. Did you post a naked picture of yourself?
No, I don't think.
Maybe that's why some of the internet's unusable anymore, you know. But honestly, ladies and gentlemen, we've got some pictures. Obviously, we've got some amazing pictures there that show the Foo Fighters, and we've got it's not just wasn't just the Germans that were dabbling in UFOs, the Japanese, the Americans, the British, they all experienced these strange things, But I would also like to say for the people that watch our lives, because we've noticed that there's a lot of people watching our lives after we upload the videos, which is strange. They're not coming to the lives, they're watching it. I would just like to say thank you for all the views, and please keep doing it. And guys, Iron City Paranormal, it's been great having you. It really has. And we'll talk to you behind the scenes.
Thank you
all
so
later,
much,
ladies and
for
gentlemen.
having us. Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Bye guys. Bye.
Bye guys.
One. All right. Come on.